If you're somebody like me who identifies with Africa and the concept of unity, you will truly come to realize what I'm saying when I address these problems within my community, especially as evident as they are within the Western world. The further you are away from your roots, from your blood, from your people, the more danger you put yourself in by trying to integrate with a group of people who culturally have already established a stereotype based on how they believe people of my color should be living. You see, the problem with my people, and it's quite an ongoing problem, we don't know how to work together. We're not like people in the Western world. We have an ongoing issue, inner conflicts with each other, inner conflicts within our own continent, within our own countries, and especially within our own families, to the point where we don't show gratitude and appreciation for another man's success. You see all these rappers who go to the top of the peak of their career, they're either living in high security or they're gone. And it's quite a shame that we haven't found an identity beyond what America portrays for us in the media, being music, sports, and violence, along with criminal activity, which can be broken, but it's a shame that those people who are trying to break the stereotype are almost doing it by themselves, because we have not been equipped with the right tools. I believe that as the history of the results of incarceration, or even let me go as far as saying slavery, has brought people from the continent of Africa to the Western Hemisphere, forced them to build the land. Whether you agree with me or not, the only correct approach at this point is to equip every single person of color who comes from that background with the right tools, the right education, and the right finances to do the minimum of just covering for their family. The problem is we see action towards other races, towards other groups who have also gone through systematic and just overall oppression. But there is still no solution for the man who identifies with the color of the skin that I represent, for them to actually pursue an avenue and especially a common ground so that we may have equal opportunity with those who are around us. And it's the sad reality of the world we live in, because the only real way to achieve a sense of freedom, a sense of life, is to go back to our own country, build for ourselves the same thing that they have built for themselves in the Western world, and contribute to the economy that's struggling within our own people. And I don't believe this problem will ever be solved within the United States. I think for as long as you have police, they will always have an agenda against those who they are trying to protect. Or let me say, from those who they are trying to isolate from certain groups, certain neighborhoods. You have to take it from me. I went to a school where I was the only black person, as America would call it, North America in particular, in a classroom full of kids who had skin as white as a snowflake. And there was not a single day, no matter how hard I achieved myself academically, physically, mentally, there was not a single day where in their psychological framework of mind they would accept me as one in their community. And I have to tell you right now that the only way you're going to gain respect is if you really understand how to pull wealth, pull an economy outside of your country. And once you have done that, then you can consider moving in to the Western world, figuring out your problems there. But I'm giving you some honest advice, because I know a lot of people, when they come to North America, they're like, oh, this is the quote unquote dream, this is the land of multiculturalism and diversity. I don't really think you can be in a position to claim that title as a country if you have one group of people who are living marginally better than another group of people who are still stuck and even getting worse problems within the community, violence, on and on, personal conflicts that unfortunately require law enforcement whenever there's action resolved. So here's my take on the situation, and this is the honest opinion and the truth regarding the matter. If you're a colored person, you need to wake up and realize that you are not going to be in the same position as somebody at the top, because that person at the top, unless you're as persistent as you think you are, you will not survive in a neighborhood where you do not belong. There is already an agenda, a sequence of series, a system already put in place to kick you out of their restaurants, to make sure that you're the first hired, you're the last fired, to ensure that you do not maintain healthy family within a household, which you may even be able to afford. But you just gotta understand, you cannot enter somebody else's neighborhood and try and claim the same benefits as they do. The only benefits you're truly gonna claim are the ones from where you came from, and that is not taking any negativity towards anybody from a significant cultural upbringing. I think when it comes to people of color, we inhibit some of the most cultural contributions towards the Western world, to the point where we provide a sense of life, a hope, joy, and standards, ethics. And certainly you cannot tell me we are living in an ethical society that just abolished the system of the slavery system less than 100 years ago. Less than 100 years ago, people of color were still getting bitten by dogs, chased around by police, and we still don't have a resolution as to why we are in the poorest neighborhoods, why we have to inherit the most rundown schools. And unfortunately, I can't blame anybody else except for that. I can only tell you that from my experience of even trying to approach the problem, there is no real initiative to change from these people. They've almost accepted this as a society norm. It almost feels like Stockholm Syndrome, when you have been in such a low state of living for so long that you get used to the person who's responsible for that state of living, the person who promised that once you come here you will be treated equally, but you find yourself scrapping for a job, trying to provide for your family, hustling every day, while that man just sits at the top. And all I'm going to tell you is this, okay? Focus on yourself. Focus on your real passion. Your passion will lead your generation, okay? There are many people out there who are struggling just like you. And if you figure out a path to kind of navigate through these dynamics, these circumstances, by establishing your own business, by establishing your own wealth, by separating from a society, you will figure out how to really solve your own problems. And then you won't be having to walk into somebody's store begging them for a job that doesn't even pay you enough to feed your own family.